Again, thank you so much for being here. It's another beautiful, lovely day. You understand? Thank you so much for being here for this another episode of trading. You understand? So, guys, again, we're going to be talking about trading psychology. You understand? So, now your brain. That's what you're going to be talking about. Why is it that it seems so easy for you to see where the market is going, but at the end of the day, it seems like you're not making anything out of the market? You understand? You ask yourself, why is it that every time you feel like you almost know everything, but at the end of the day, you don't get anything out of the market? Understand? So one thing that we should be understanding right now, that there are some beliefs, and those beliefs are associated with risk. You understand? And there are some beliefs that you have that associated with losing money. That's the reason why it's hard for you to be able to make money in the market. I repeat, it's not because the market is so hard that you do not know what you should be doing. The problem is there are some beliefs that you're holding about the risk, and there are some beliefs that you're holding about losing money. In that way, your brain is sabotaging you without you even noticing. Okay? So now, think about it. How many times have you lost money in the market, and then at the end of the day, instead of walking away, you end up revenge trading? You understand? Clearly, you know that if I lose this trade and I walk away, come back the next day, I will be able to execute a trade. Eventually, I will make money, pay out the losses, then I remain with some profits. You understand? But again, you find it's very difficult for you to be able to walk away. You understand? So what is the problem? The market is very okay. It is your brain giving you issues. So there are some beliefs that you have about losing money. You understand? You feel like you shouldn't lose money as a human being. Not only that, this is the worst scenario. You go to the market, you lose money. After losing money, what happens? You accept the losing day, and then you walk away. You understand? That day is the day whereby you practice discipline, which is very important. But now you come back in the next day, you find the market give you a setup, and then you see the setup is a good setup. And now at the end of the day, the brain does its duty. What is the duty of the brain? The brain was wired to associate. You understand? Your brain starts saying that yesterday's trade looked exactly just like this one. Now even this one it might also lose. You understand? At the same time, now your brain is convincing you, yesterday you lost money and you went through some pain. Even if you followed your rules, now this trade, now should I take it or shouldn't I take it? Now you are asking yourself 1, 2, 3 questions. Now you decide not to take the trade. You understand? Now what are you doing? You are waiting for more confirmation. As you're waiting for more confirmation, the market goes without you. It has been happening again and again and again and again. Why? There are some beliefs that you're holding about losing money. You understand? So again, the last trade was a losing trade. Your brain is associating last trade and with this trade, and then you end up hesitating to take the trade. The market goes your way. You understand? So now, I want you to understand one thing. It's not that your brain is having a problem. No. Your brain is having no problem. It is that is how it is called natural wiring. That is how the brain was wired. A human brain was wired to associate moments, and this is a protective mechanism. It's a survival mechanism. For example, if you see a snake right now, you understand, your brain is going to remember the snakes you have been seeing before. What are you going to do? You are either going to try to kill it or run away. It is there to protect you. That is a protective mechanism that our brain uses. Okay? Associating moments. But now at the end of the day, that same wiring of associating moments that help us very well in outside the world, when we go into trading, it is the same thing that makes us not to make money for years. You understand? Because clearly, your brain is always going to associate moments. You understand? But at the end of the day, if you want to reach to a point of making money, you need to reach to a point of de-associating moments. Meaning that you create a belief called every time is unique. Yes, you might know this logically, that every time is unique in the market. You understand? But again, your subconscious mind, when you are in front of the market, when it's time of execution, okay, you end up hesitating. Why? Because logically, you know, every time is unique. What happened yesterday is totally different with what is going to happen today, because there are always different participants in the market. But at the end of the day, your brain doesn't see it that way. Your brain is saying, if yesterday's trade was above support and I ended up buying, the trade never worked. If today's the market is also above support, I have everything that I need to call the trade a setup, I'm also going to wait for maybe more confirmation. So what ends up happening? You end up hesitating to take this trade. You understand? So what does it mean? Fear comes out of what? Hesitation comes out of fear, rather. You understand? You end up hesitating because of fear of losing money. You understand? Because there are some, not because if you lose money you're going to die. You clearly know if I lose money I can make it back tomorrow. But the problem is your brain doesn't see it that way. So now, for you to reach a point whereby you can make money from the market that you can rely on, you need to have reached a point of realizing that, again, there are some beliefs that you need to uninstall from your head. Because your brain is doing exactly its function. But now those functions, they are so useful outside trading. But when now it comes to trading, you end up being sabotaged. For example, think about it. Why do you think you enter trade so early? Understand? Fear of missing out. Because outside the world, opportunities are scarce. You understand? So when you hear about an opportunity, you hurry quickly to do what? To grab it. Because if you know, if you grab the opportunity, your life is going to get better. If your life gets better, you're going to be happy. If you're happy, your family is happy. So that's why you always grab each opportunity that comes by. But now, that same way how we grab opportunities in the world, when you go into trading, every time when the market's moving, even if we haven't seen our own setup, what happens? We end up entering also very early. Why? Because again, our brain hasn't realized that, again, this is trading. The opportunities are endless. There is endless opportunities in the market. The opportunities are reciprocal. It's repeating itself every single time, now and again. Your brain thinks that if opportunities are scarce in the world, even in trading are scarce. That is why if the market goes without you, you end up feeling so bad. Sometimes you enter halfway, sometimes you even enter before the market gives you a setup. Why? Because you are having a scarcity mindset. You understand? So you must have reached to a point whereby you are no longer amongst the 95% of traders who are only looking about market structure. You understand? If you have reached to a point of realizing that, oh, there is a possibility that I'm not making money out of the market because of my brain. You understand? Because believe me or not, if you have spent 1 year, 1.5 years, 2 years in trading, high chances that you know exactly what you should be doing. You understand? Of course, you might be needing a little bit of refinement there and there in your strategy, but again, one of your problems could be your brain. So, the brain's main duty is there to protect you. You understand? But now the way your brain is protecting you when it comes to trading, it's another story. Think about it. You understand? You execute a trade and then it wins. You understand? Now your brain is saying that now if yesterday's trade was a winning trade, even the next trade is going to be a winning trade. So what do? You increase your lot size, forgetting that anything can happen in trading and every time is unique. Now you end up finding that the money that you got yesterday into yesterday's trade, you're losing it all in the next trade. Why? Because again, your brain is doing things that you shouldn't be doing. Not only that, how many times have you gone in front of the market, you make rules, but after making these rules, you find yourself changing the rules. After 2-3 losses, what do? If you're not revenge trading, you increase your lot size. Why? You want to recover all the money that you have lost in the market. What is the problem? The market has no problem. What is the problem? Impatience. You feel like you can't wait to trade slowly to then you recover. Your brain tells you know what? If we increase our lot size, we are going to get back our money quickly, then we get rich better. In that way, you have sabotaged yourself again. Because believe me or not, anytime in the market when you are emotional, whether you are angry, sad, or overconfident, your performance won't be good. You understand? Every time you are emotional, you can't perform onto your peak. You understand? To the best of your ability. So what does that really mean? You need to reach to a point of training your brain. What separates the best traders from the rest is the way the best traders think. You understand? You need to change the way you think. You understand? In a way whereby you think properly, in a way that your thinking is corresponding with how the market works really. You understand? Like creating beliefs like anything can happen in trading, creating beliefs that again every time is unique. Because if you have a belief that anything can happen, it means that if the last trade was a winning trade, it means that the next one can win. If you have a belief that every time is unique, if the last trade was a losing trade, you won't hesitate to take the next trade if the market gives you a setup, because you know what happened yesterday is not the same thing is going to happen today. You understand? So you need to create this belief so that again you can get aligned with how things should be done. You understand? If you have finished this video to this point, consider subscribing and also comment that we meet at the top. You understand? And then like the video. You can also share it with a friend if you have one. You understand? Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in the next episode.